Well, thank you for staying with us on the AM show. We stay on the political front, and like you can see behind me, it's all about Osuno Kukrudu, the New Patriotic Party. They are gearing up for that flag bearership race, and a number of people are picking up forms, 10 of them for now, all of them saying they are the ones to lead the NPP to break the 8. But with the numbers and all the dynamics piling up, what can we expect? Joining us this morning, Hackman Owusu-Agyeman. A lot of you know him. You should. He is chairman of the NPP's Council of Elders. He's been there, done that in the party. For now, he is chairman of the Council of Elders. Mr. Agyeman, a very good morning to you, sir. Thank you for joining us on the AM show.
Well, and God bless you. Have a blessed day already before we start.
Thank you so much. It's just how many days ago that I saw you, but here we are one more time. A number of people have picked up forms for the flag bearership slot of the NPP. 10 of them and more are set to pick the forms. At a point, the party stated that if there were more than a certain number, they would have to trim down, they would have to go through some processes to trim down to 5. With the numbers that are picking forms, sir, what is the reaction of the Council of Elders?
Well, good morning to your listeners. I'd like to underscore the fact that the Council of Elders kind of looked at the totality of the whole party, the situation, and advised accordingly. In this instance, as is our tradition, it's an open contest, so each and every one of us who feels able to compete is welcome to do that. But in the process, then we have to put in place a system for filtering out, if you like, the people so that we get to 5. And that will be done by the Electoral College. Since we have more than 5, Electoral College of some almost 1,000 people, with comprising the MPs, the Council of Elders, and the National Council, the National Executive Committee.
Mr. Agyeman, sorry to interject. If you could speak up just a little for us. I know it's early morning, but we're struggling a little to hear you. If you could speak up just a bit, we'd be grateful, sir.
I should do what, sorry?
If you could speak up just a little, like you just did.
Very well, sir. I apologize. What I'm saying is that yes, the National Council is aware of the number of people who have taken the forms. The process continues, and when it finishes, then we shall put in place the systems that we have as a party to filter in this number and bring it down to 5. For now, we are looking at the individuals who have come to introduce themselves to us. We have exchanged ideas with some of them. We have assessed some of them by the National Council, and I'd like to underscore that this is not the vetting process. No. This is the sort of the, if you like, the program, the advantage of the Council of Elders to meet with them, assess them, and also help us to clarify our own thinking of the individuals and what they stand for. In that process, we have met quite a few of them, and we are very satisfied with what is going on. And also, we also want to ensure to reinforce the fairness and the transparent nature of the elections that we are about to undertake.
So the numbers do not matter, even if 20. I think it was sometime when Kufuor was about to cede office. You remember the numbers we had, 14 or 17 or something of the like. Do the numbers matter or not? I mean, if you have a field of about 20 or 30, does the party have any concerns?
Well, it matters to some extent. There are few people in the party who think that it doesn't matter, but we thought that it was a bit untidy, quote and unquote, that the 17 of us will be competing for the same thing, falling over ourselves, and we didn't think that it did the party much good. That's why the party changed the constitution and said there should be an electoral college which should reduce the number to 5. That's manageable and that what is we go nationwide. I think this system is done in most places. If you see the latest conservative up and downs in UK, the MPs there, the MPs do the filtering, and eventually they cut down to about 2 people who are then nationwide presented to them. And I think it's on the same modalities that we do. So the numbers matter a lot. Otherwise, it's a bit of confusion, and controlling it becomes a little bit of a problem. And so, yes, the numbers matter, and that's why we are trying to bring it down. Our intervention or our involvement at this stage is the fact that we like to talk to all of them, advise them on how they go about campaigning with decorum, decency, no insults, no collateral damage or anything, so we're not shooting ourselves in the foot. And all this is important that we underscore this to them, because sometimes, as they say in the Akan language, the one who is raising the trade does not know that the back is not too straight. And so we will tell them what to do, and if we have heard anything that they have done, we'll also caution them to say from there going forward, this is how you must behave yourself. We have a code of conduct, certainly, as a party written, but still, it's important that the elders speak to them and underscore these points effectively, so that we will have, hopefully, a very peaceful elections, and then get a flag bearer who would then compete with the opposition and other parties, and hopefully make sure we break the 8, as we always say.
So you have a system to trim down the numbers, the electoral college system. Do let us in. What is it going to look like? How are you going to implement it? If I'm not mistaken, this is the first time you're going to implement this, right?
No, we did it the last time too. We've done it before. After the 17, the next one was also about 9 or so. We did it, yes. And
so you've been implementing this for a while now?
We've done it, yes. We've done it, I think, once or twice, and we are going to do it this time too, to bring down the number to 5. We've done it before, and it's quite effective in that some of the people, so we thought they should stand aside and let the others compete. So it's not a matter of trying to, if you like, chaperone the system to the effect that it goes to anybody's advantage. No, it's everybody's open, free, and fair. And that's what we have to do, because trying to interfere in the system brings always confusion. But when we are voting, well, everybody has got his vote and his preference, so it works that way. It's been quite useful. And
are there going to be, pardon the interjection, are there going to be any differences in how you implement this electoral collegiate system this time compared to the previous times? What has changed?
No, sir. So far, for this year, there are no changes. The Electoral College would compose their MPs, the National Council of Elders, National Council, as I enumerated before, and those ones would then vote as a single spot, hopefully, and then we'll be able to sort of tally the numbers, and the first 5 are the ones who would go on to the main election, which is scheduled for 4th November this year. So before that time, we would have done the Electoral College somewhere in August, and pinned the number down to 5. And so nothing has changed from the previous years. The only thing which has changed is that we have to empower the candidates and ginger them to action and make sure that victory becomes ours come 2024.
In terms of the vetting process, what can we look forward to?
Ours that we have met so far, Chief, we've met almost quite a few of them. We've met at Dynamo, and we have met at Jakun, we met at Preku, and yesterday we met Usefrie, and then I think what's Akumpreko, and today we'll meet Chirmatin and Dr. Baumia, and so far it's been good, and we have been having interactive sessions with them. It's not a vetting process, as I keep saying. It's not the vetting process. The vetting process will be done by the vetting committee of the party. And but this is for them, if you like, in the traditional sense, introducing themselves to us as elders and saying that this is my ambition. Then we ask, where do you want to take Ghana? Where do you want to take this party? And they also answer, and we have questions for them. And it'll be very interesting situations, and some people have, to our minds, excelled themselves and told us things that maybe we were not conversant with, we were not aware of. So I think it's very interesting that we are having this first engagement with them, and then subsequently at the level of the national. When we go to do the filtering process, i.e. the electoral college, it also helps us to make up our mind and our own thinking vis-a-vis the individuals that are concerned. But the vetting process, as I keep saying, will take place sometime 26th, 27th of June, which is chaired by about 9 people, which will do the vetting to make sure that everything's okay.
There are some who have said that this entire process to pick...
Sorry, the line was breaking. Sorry, sir.
Is it better now? Is it better now, please?
I think there's some interest. Anyway, please go ahead. Let's see.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
I am asking, there are some who say that this entire process of winnowing down to 5 only means some select group of people are going to be picked through whatever system. For example, they say definitely the Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, is going to be there, and Alan Kojo-Chirmatin is also going to be there. So it's not so much of a system it's just to handpick a few people. How do you react to that?
Well, that is, with the utmost of respect, that is your assessment of the situation. If in your mind, and I know that Joy FM is a leading institution with their electoral system, and when elections are there, they come almost first in all these things. So you have done your assessment, and your people have done the assessment. So it's you saying, but I think that surprises sometimes come out in the way. So we are not at this stage prejudging or preempting anybody. Whoever is the electoral college would vote for the people that would be. The advantage is not being given to anybody, and our role is to ensure that what the party has said is done freely and fairly, and everybody has got satisfaction. So at the end of the day, those who will lose will feel that it was a genuine loss, so they will join their other colleagues in making sure that the party remains united, cohesive, and be able to execute, be able to implement the program that we do, and so that we stay solidly together. A house divided upon itself always crumbles down. So it's all right, but it's not our assessment. If it's your assessment that the two would come, fine, but surprises are always cannot be ruled out. So we will do the voting and see how, as you say, the win will take place, and we'll see how it goes. And so I think that for now, we are not preempting anybody.
I will get to the bit about unity. It was my very next question. But are you saying then that the system is so transparent that it is even possible that when the 5 are selected, maybe a Dr. Bawumia could be not in there, or an Alan Chirmatin, it is possible that he would not be in there? Is that what you're saying?
Well, everything is possible. Everything is possible, but of course, probabilities and what have you, based on your research, you have made your sort of assessment. But everything is possible. For us, as I said, we are of an open mind as Council of Elders or as a party, and whoever comes out out of this competition, it will be done. But I don't think that anybody, quite obviously, if you are in a particular position, it offers you a little advantage here and there. But at the end of the day, what we have to ensure that we have a system that is open, that is transparent, that though there's no intimidation, so that everybody will be happy. And if we have, as National Council of Elders, we don't ensure that they will have been derelict of our responsibilities as a council, we do that. So our job is to make sure that whatever the rules, everybody plays the game by the rules. So I'm afraid I have to respectfully disagree with you that I don't think anybody is being given an advantage here or there. But I think you have something, you call it electoral. You have a section of your organization which you call electoral something, who take care of elections. So they should be doing the assessment and maybe predicting who will be. But that one is your prerogative and you'd handle that.
I think you're referring to our election headquarters or our political desk.
Exactly, like election headquarters. I've always enjoyed it and I've always benefited from it. I think they have a nationwide coverage and it's a good initiative which I would encourage you to continue because it keeps the populace informed of what is happening and the transparency and the fairness of the system is also underscored. So the election headquarters, that's a fantastic job, I must say. I appreciate it. Yeah.
We thank you for the kind words, Mr. Agyemang. But in terms of the unity of your party, which is the next question I'm going to pose, there appear to be many schisms, cracks, crevices on the back of the fierce contestation. So we have a number of people, former members of parliament, former leaders of your party. In fact, people who have served former energy minister, former agric minister, the vice president is in there, former trade minister. The pool is quite a strong one. And all of them are gunning for the same position. But at the same time, their supporters are throwing pot shots at the other people. And some are saying all of this is creating disunity in your party. How united is the NPP ahead of this flag bearership race?
Well, whenever in the period leading to elections and selections, it's always a bit controversy arises here and there. But I think the fundamental issue of the solid cohesion, the party, is not compromised in any way. And that is why we as elders are talking to these aspirants and asking them to rein in their supporters so that we do these elections with utmost decorum and also that insult and devoid of all acrimony and insult and whatever and the rest. And as I say, sometimes we behave like a football team, like the football association. If we will hold them responsible for the utterances of their supporters, we will not let them go free. Because to say that, well, I did not say, somebody said it, no. You have to hold and then make sure that you call your supporters to order. So the unity, the cohesiveness of the party is not, as I say, it's not compromised in any way. We want to stay together, we want to stay strong, we want to stay focused, and we want to see and tout the achievements that we have done, if there are any difficulties, how we surmounted it, and see how the people of Ghana will react. Because at the end of the day, it's the advancement of Ghana that we are all looking for, and that must be the aim of a political party. And for us, we are no exception. So we will do things that will make Ghana proud that it has a system, democratic system, whereby people are able to express themselves, and those who aspire to lead must then also toe the line, straight and narrow path, to make sure that this country begins to do things the way they should be done, and without acrimony, without all these things. So our getting together is there. We know that a house divided upon itself will go nowhere. So we are not in any way joking with the unity of the party, and we are certain that our people understand that that's what's important. And the fairness of the system is what will get that. So nobody goes about shouting that it's been unfair. No, we want to ensure that it's fair, free and fair. That's what, both at our level and at the level of the nation, also the elections, they are free and fair.
Mr. Ajaman, so my next question to you, you spoke about hopefully breaking the 8 earlier in your comments. The EIU says that actually the opposition NDC is in pole position to take over, which would mean that the 8-year cycle is going to continue. But your party wants to break the 8. When you look at the NPP today in terms of viability of staying in power for 2024, we've gone to the IMF. We said we wouldn't go there. The economy, I wouldn't say it's in a shambles, but it's in a dire place. The cedi still, even on the back of the IMF arrangement, is tumbling. Is it still viable? Is it possible for the NPP to win come 2024, to break the 8?
Well, my clearest understanding and appreciation of the situation is the fact that a few things sort of came together to give us a little difficulty in the management of the economy, i.e. the COVID and also the Ukraine-Russia war and a few other things. But, I mean, it is in governance, there are times that you go down, but how you rise is what is important. And we are rising because in record time, IMF gave us the support, and we are doing things that as we must do. We have not even compromised in any way the intervention, social intervention for the vulnerable, and they are all taking place. So I believe that in the next 18 months, we should be able to completely right the wrong that came in. We should be able to resolve the issues that were on the table, and then with the 8. But we are convinced, without any shadow of doubt, that if you take the example of Japan, Singapore, and all these people, the same parties have been in power 60 years or more. And so if we get a good leadership, which we hope to get, then we will be able to move on. So I don't think that in life, it's not a straightforward thing. There are ups and downs. And once this has happened, once we have surmounted it, whatever it is, our friends, Ghana's friends are there to assist, and they have assisted us, and we are going. There's no shadow of doubt that within the next 6 months, the economy would improve, and in the next year, it would also improve. And then all these put together with what we had done before in our first term would convince Ghanaians that we have done well. In fact, what it is that I believe when I see the list of interventions, the list of programs and projects that have been executed by this administration, I am impressed. And I know Africa quite well, like the back of my hand, when I was in charge the whole for the UN. So I know what I'm talking about, and I believe that these difficulties notwithstanding, we should be able to put ourselves together and show Ghanaians what we have done and what we intend to do. Match ourselves vis-a-vis the opposition and those who are opposing, and see where the good people of Ghana will decide. So, Chief, I like to submit that yes, there have been difficulties, but as I said, how we rise, how we get up is the most important, and how we've gotten up is apparent. It's impressive. That how we've gotten up is impressive. And within the shortest possible time, we have everybody supporting it, and that is it. It was difficult, but I'm sure the government, what he's doing has really helped the situation. And by your own assessment, and you have a very good team at Joy, you would know, if you do, and assess it vis-a-vis the programs and projects we've done, you would come to the conclusion that we have done fairly well and that we would do more to push us forward. I mean, the by-election in Kumawu showed that we haven't done badly, even with all that one. We 70% plus, and in Asin North, we are also going to win that.
So, sorry again for interjecting. I'm trying not to do that at all. I'll be getting to the Asin North situation on the back of Kumawu, but on the back of everything that has happened, the IMF situation, Galamsey has spiraled out of control. Just a few days ago, I was speaking to my colleague Erastus Asari Donko. The Tanod, the Brim, the Pra, all of our rivers are getting ever murkier. And the situation, it appears, I mean, now there are people with equipment that we've not even seen before on our water bodies and all of that. You still think that, barring all of this, the party can win? You know, I remember Vice President Dr. Bawumia saying that they had a solid economic management team. People have questioned that. You've heard. Does the NPP still have the men to do this work?
Well, if I might take the last question, the men, yes, we have. Difficulties there would be. And resolving them is the essence of governance. I believe that what has happened on Galamsey, maybe it's our Achilles heel. It's been very difficult resolving a human situation which, without using the force of military or police to do that. It's been very difficult, but I think that with the initiatives now being done and the reorientation of the programs, the water bodies which are being destroyed, and believe you me, once upon a time I was in charge of water also. I'm really distressed by it, and that means that we have to do something about it. And I think there have been late moves, there have been further moves by the government to try and resolve this Galamsey issue. There are other countries where they are mining, but they don't destroy their water bodies. And we should learn, we are learning from them. We should have programs for responsible small-scale mining, which will not destroy our water bodies as we are seeing now. And so this cannot be put only at the door of the government. We as a people must know that we must preserve these, if you like, water bodies for generations yet unborn. We cannot continue to do these things, and this is painfully, the government is painfully aware of this, and they will do it something to help it. But it's a very delicate human situation, and our own people, in a way, are not helping the situation.
But enforcement lies in the belly of government. The people, I mean, consider the issue of taxes across the world. If the government fails to implement, people will always find loopholes. If you leave people, they will do the wrong thing. It lies in the bosom of government to ensure that there's compliance, doesn't it?
It does indeed, because they must provide the leadership. They must provide solutions. The solutions together as a nation that we all embrace. And that is why everybody should come on board, and that's why we should handle the situation together. It's one of the most difficult situations that any government can encounter. It's gotten much worse at this time. It was always there, but it's gotten much worse. And so we have to all try and work together to make sure that the menace of Galamsey and the destroying of the water bodies are halted. And I think a few places we're making progress, and sometimes there's a drawback, and then they find that it's gone back. But I think that the current programs that are being put in place should lead to some level of rehabilitation of the water bodies that have been destroyed, and then we'll go from there. It's a difficult situation, I have to agree, And I have to say that so far we haven't achieved that much success, but some kind of progress has been made, some success has been achieved, and then we should be able to do that. It's all part of the gamut of issues that we would have to handle in the immediate future.
Mr. Agyemang, as we get ready to wind down on the conversation, just two things I have left for you, unless there are any intervening matters. First, you made mention of Kumau and Asin North. Kumau, the NPP's votes dwindled by quite a bit, not just because of the independent candidates, the two bearing the same name who contested in that election, but also because, well, some people felt disgruntled by the party's performance. In fact, the opposition garnered a lot more votes than in election 2020. We all saw the nighttime road construction and all of that. And people felt, is it only at this time when we have a by-election that you can come and do this? And with the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the NPP kneeling to beg them and all of that. When you look at Asin North, it's going to be even more difficult because your party lost by about 3,000 votes, and the NDC is, I've seen images, they intend putting up the same candidate, James Jachi Quayson. That would be an interesting dynamic in our politics. But what do you make of that development? What are your expectations in Asin North?
But to go back to Kumau, I think that respectfully, and I underscore the word respectfully, I beg to disagree with you because you don't add numbers. I mean, you can play around with numbers the way you want to play around with. But you saying that they got more votes compared with this. But if you do an element of relativity analysis, you see that that assertion is not true. Because they have 2,000 and they have gone to 3,000, and for that matter, no, it's not. But I believe that let's leave that to the statisticians to resolve. But in my own mind, I don't believe that they got more votes. They added on to it. But by-elections have their peculiarities, and that's what happened. Now, on Asin North, yes, procurement of various other things were done long before. And if you see that what is happening in Asin North, there's a lot of developments as far as my information goes. And the people would come to appreciate that. I mean, by elections, I don't think that because a guy won by 3,000, it cannot be overturned. Look at what happened in the Hohoi. Even there, Hohoi, we've never won a place in voter. We managed to win. So if you get a good candidate, the issue to get a good candidate, a consensus candidate, who would then pick up our flag vis-a-vis the NDC. I believe sincerely that we have lost a lot of time in all these legal battles, but now the decision is made. We will go ahead and fight the battle. I am told that we are going to have our elections pretty soon. Open, free and fair elections at a constituency level, I think sometime this week or next week. And then be sure we get a candidate who would match whoever NDC put up, foot for foot, whether it's Quayson or whoever they decide to bring. I am hopeful, I'm very, very hopeful that we would win the Asin North seat. We've won it before, so we can do it again. It looks as if it was NDC, NPP, NDC, maybe time and NPP wins. And so I think that we can win that place. We have to work hard, and we are working hard to convince the people that it will be in their interest and it's good for them if NPP was given a nod from there to do what we have to do for them.
My final question, like I said, last two, so this is the final one, Mr. Agyemang. Briefly, in terms of fighting graft, a lot has been graft, corruption. A lot has happened. The indices, I mean, the Ghana Statistical Service with that UN agency pointing to the fact that real-time corruption has increased.
Sorry, sir, the line was... Did you say graft?
Yes, graft, anti-graft, so anti-corruption. I'm saying that the Ghana Statistical Service has come out with a report sometime last year, which points to the fact that real corruption is increasing. The Corruption Perception Index also indicates that we are not doing well at all. In terms of that, on the back of Daniel Yao-Domelovo, the former Auditor General, and what the Supreme Court has ruled, what are your quick thoughts on that? The way he was treated and now the ruling of the Apex Court. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Uncle, Domelovo is my friend, and situation there, but you know that he was asked to go on leave. In the similar vein, Ajimandia, who was also Auditor General, was also instructed by President Atta Mills to go on leave. So it's not only NPP which has misinterpreted the Constitution. I'm coming.
Just pardon me, sir. Is that not equalization? I mean, if it's not good for the goose, it shouldn't be good for the gander.
No. It's not that. What I'm saying is that the interpretation may be by the two governments, by NDC government and by NPP government, was that the prerogative rested with the president to ask you to go on leave. And I'm saying that Ajimendia was also asked to take 246 days leave that was accumulated and was instructed and letter signed by the chief of staff to proceed on leave, which he did. And the same thing happened also in our administration to proceed on leave, which Domelovo did. Now the Apex Court says that is unconstitutional. So it means that the Constitution itself is hazy. It's not well crafted to the extent that it will be absolutely clear. But by using the original powers, they say that it's not constitutional. So it will not be done. But what I'm saying that it was done before and it was repeated, now it's bad. Now coming to the issue of corruption and the perception of corruption and whatever the rest. Well, it is that, yes, some of the reports have not been favorable, but everything is being done to ensure that we handle this issue properly. Ghanaians should learn to be bold and tell the world what is happening. And then it should be followed by government and by the prosecutorial agencies. I sincerely believe that corruption is a bane of development in Africa as a people. And a lot more vigorous efforts need to be put in this in checking. But the corruption has run through the fabric of the whole society. If a civil servant is giving a project and he brings and he says it's 50 million, you have no way of checking, no value for money, thing is happening. And then, so the corruption is in the society from A to Z. These days, it got a bit worse, but it's improving. So I believe that it can be done. It's just one of the problems, difficult problems that every government must tackle. But I believe that in the fullness of time, we can look at what has happened and how the government has reacted to it, and then we'll see. Right now, I am not seized with I'm not Okoro or Ofe with the details of the various initiatives that have been done to make sure that we get value for money in everything we do and that the corrupt practices are reduced to the minimum. It cannot be completely eliminated, I think, but at least effort will be made, and efforts are being made to believe that we tackle the issue of corruption. We ourselves, amongst ourselves, talk about it, and we are worried about it, and we have to find a way. Going forward, we have to find a way of really getting value for money for this nation. So I don't think that we have treated corruption lightly, but when you are asked to give effects, Ghanaians should also be bold to give up and tell what has happened. But when you don't tell it and you don't have the facts, then it becomes a perception, then you are not able to act. And so it's an issue which I think is also on the front burner, and corruption with Galamsey must be tackled vigorously, and it's been done. And I believe that, but as I said, the facts will not be available to me as to what has been done. But I know that some prosecutions, investigations are going on. Office of the Special Prosecutor is working, Attorney General is working, CID is working. But in all these, sometimes one wonder whether even the agencies that are supposed to prosecute are doing the best of things. And sometimes when you sit back, you find that maybe we should do better as a nation than what we are doing now. So if I've not been able to answer the issue very well because I don't have the facts, but I believe as far as I can gather, we are doing quite well with trying to, with a lot of effect to try and do what we must do.
On a scale of 1 to 10, the conversation has wrapped, but just because of how you ended, on a scale of 1 to 10, from start till now, this NPP administration, how would you rate them on a scale of 1 to 10?
With regard to what?
With regard to, managing the affairs of the country, everything.
On a scale of 1 to 10?
Yes.
What does that mean? That I think that
where 10 is the highest and 1 is the lowest.
Yeah, I know, but I think that I will give a minimum of 7, 8. 7, 8. Like minimum, because I think that what it is, the story is not being told. The interventions are not being told. The developments are not being told. If you look at what the list of things that have been done, and at the same time, even at the international level, the recognition, I think this government has done well. Certainly we can't get to 10, but I think 7, 8, I think would be a fairly good assessment of what we have done. But that doesn't mean we are resting on our oars. We have to work harder to make sure we deliver the goods to the good people of Ghana.
Mr. Owusu Agyeman, we are so grateful that this morning you took the time to join us, and we wish you the very best of the day, sir.
Well, thank you very much. I thought I was going to talk only about our intervention as Council of Elders on the electoral processes and
you see how I stretched it.
But now you've moved me to areas where I don't have sometimes I don't have the statistics. I think that, but anyway, you ambushed me on some of those issues, and so I didn't really. But I think what I knew, and I've been keeping pace with them, and they keep us informed. Is what I've said, and I thank you very much for this discussion, and have a blessed day. Thank you very much.
Same to you, sir. And even with your lack of preparation, you fared very well, sir. We're grateful for your time. Hackman Owusu Agyeman is chairman of the NPP Council of Elders. And you heard him there. When it comes to the NPP administration throughout the last 7 years, he would score the NPP 7 or 8 over 10. Well, that is done, dusted. Let's talk now about the next conversation we're having. It's a new month, 6th month of the year. But what are your expectations of this administration by close of 2023? What do you want to see? Well, we're going to be engaging our guests on that all-important matter. 2023 is a crucial year for Ghana. Our economy, our economic life, and a lot of other things, Galamsey and all of that, are tied to it. If we get it right this year, it will lead into next year. Let's not forget the IMF program. So, what are your expectations? That conversation is up next on the AM show. Do stay.